If you ask people what will make you happy, does Sunday make you happy or Monday make you happy? And they'll all say Sunday makes you happy. Why? Because you can sleep as long as you want, you can eat whenever you want, you can take bath whenever you want. But Monday does not make us happy, because then you have to get up on time, you have to get ready fast, you have to catch the bus or the train or drive down to office quickly on time, and then you have to meet your boss and make the presentation and all that. So Sunday is always better because there's a lot of freedom. We love freedom. Everybody loves freedom. But think about it. How does the, animals we think are free, but every day the animals are not really free. All day long they are looking for a place to stay or a place to eat. And they're constantly running after food, because when they get it, and once they get food, they're afraid that they'll be caught, so they have to hide in a particular place or rest in a place where nobody will attack them. So animals are not as free as we think they are, and even human beings, we are constantly looking for food, clothing, shelter. And how do you create food, clothing, shelter? Think about it. Historically, how did human beings create food? To get food, for example, rice on a plate, you need a field. A field has to exist. खेत के बिना खाना नहीं मिलेगा. खेत कहाँ से आता है? खेत तो प्राकृतिक नहीं है. Field is not natural at all. वो सांस्कृतिक है, cultural है. मतलब human beings go to the jungle, we destroy the forest and we replace it with a field. हम decide करते हैं कि इस खेत में कौन सा बीज बोना चाहिए. So in other words, we domesticate the earth. We destroy an ecosystem and we control an ecosystem, and we decide what should grow, what should not grow. So we create crops. That is what we do. Now that is called domestication. So look at human beings, we have domesticated fire. We have domesticated water. So we don't go to the water to get water. The water comes to us. We don't need fire anymore. We have electricity. We have domesticated fire. We just have gas hota hai, so we can get fire whenever we want. We have domesticated plants, and so we have orchards and gardens and fields where food grows, abundant food grows for us, lots of food. We have domesticated animals, so we have domesticated the horse, we have domesticated the bull, the cow, the dog. So we domesticate them, and we like that. Why do we like dogs? Because they obey. Whatever you tell them to do, they will do. They will never disobey. So we like when people obey us. So this domestication idea is something that we don't realize how powerful it is. And we have not only domesticated fire, water, plants and animals, we have also domesticated our mind. So you can't just drive your car wherever you want. There is a red signal which will tell you to stop, and you stop. There's a green signal which tells you to go. Think about it. When you go to school, the child has no freedom. There's a timetable which domesticates and tells, now you study history, now you study geography, now you study English. So we are being controlled by rules. Rules are just domestication of the mind. Our mind wants to do anything. We want every day should be Sunday. But rules tell us no, tomorrow is Monday and tomorrow is Tuesday and Wednesday, and you have to do the sales and you have to go to office and wear the uniform and you have to stick to rules. Are rules good or bad? If there was no rule, there would be chaos. We would be in jungle. जंगल राज होता था. प्राकृतिक होती थी, लेकिन संस्कृति कुछ नहीं होता. रूल्स के लिए संस्कृति आती है. Culture comes into being. And because there is culture, we have more food, more clothing, more shelter, we have access to resources. So domestication has its plus points. But so we say that, okay, I don't mind, when you come join a company, they'll say, okay, you have to sign a contract, which means what? You've given up your freedom voluntarily and says, okay, I'll follow the rules of the company. In exchange, the company should give me a salary and should give me some status and should give me growth, should give me happiness. So what is that? That is a voluntary domestication. So if you read the Bible, for example, all the people who want to go to the promised land, they want to just, at first they just want to sing and dance and do nothing. And after some time, Moses, the Messiah, says that is not the way to do it. You have to follow some rules. So he comes up with 10 commandments. They're carved in stone. And they're shown, and he said, if you want to go to the promised land, you have to follow these rules. And so long as the rules benefit us, we'll say, okay, fine, we'll sign the contract. That is voluntary domestication. But you see, after some time, we don't like rules, because rules make us feel insignificant. We feel we are being controlled by the rules. If we are making the rules, we are happy. But if we have to follow the rules, we are not very happy. And we want to break rules. Nobody, Ram is always following the rules. We're saying, no, we want to be Krishna. We want to break the rules. Because breaking rules makes us feel free. Rules make us feel like we are lions who are put in a cage. We feel enslaved by rules, so we want to break the rules. And this is the reality of life. Rules or no rules. In Indian mythology, you have two gods. One god is called Kama. Kama is the god of love, god of lust, god of creativity, god of desire, god of freedom. Jo karna hai karo. And he's described as riding a parrot. And a beautiful parrot, he flies wherever he wants to go. And his bow is made of a sugar cane. And he shoots arrows made of flowers. And when he shoots arrows, you are filled with creativity. But you see, once he shoots an arrow, he doesn't think of the consequences. He's a completely irresponsible god. Because freedom is about irresponsibility. You have complete freedom. You do whatever you want on Sunday. However, we have another god to balance Kama. Kama may create the world, but then you have Yama, the god of death. Because every action has a reaction. Everything has a consequence. So what does Yama do? He's the god of death. He keeps a record of all our actions. Bahi khata rakhta hai, hisab kitab karta hai. He's the god of accounting. He measures everything and makes you accountable for whatever you have done. He's the god of rules. And therefore he is shown holding in his hand a stick and a noose, a pasha. Tie you and hold you by the noose and rein you in. Like a wild animal who's been reined in and made domesticated. Karta has to have both qualities. He has to be both the Kama, who appreciates people's desire for creativity and freedom. But he's also Yama. For every action, he will ask accountability. Say, if you've taken, are you responsible for your actions? He will check. He will constantly check whether you followed the rules, whether you followed your performance is up to the mark, whether you have achieved your targets. Think about it. We like, they say that Vishnu has 4 things in his hand. He has a shankha, a conch shell, a chakra, a wheel, a gada or a mace or a club, and a padma or a lotus flower. What is a conch shell? Conch shell is a trumpet with which you communicate. What is a chakra? It's a wheel. It is about reviews. What is a gada or a mace? It's a disciplinary action. And what is padma? Padma is lotus flower. It is appreciation. If you ask anybody what do they like, they will say we like when the boss appreciates us. We like when the boss communicates with us. So what do you don't like about the boss? They'll say, oh, I don't like it when he does reviews. And we don't like it when he disciplines us. But Vishnu has all these 4 things. Look at those carefully. If you look at the gada, the disciplinary action, and the review part, it is Yama, the god of accountability. While the other side, the conch shell trumpet and the lotus flower, is Kama, the god of creativity and freedom. A balance of these 2 things is what a karta shows and displays constantly. He appreciates you, he communicates with you, but he also disciplines you and reviews your work. And we have to be aware of this. The balance between Kama and Yama. Let's give an example. A Kama has one team member who loves, he's a Kama, he's a very creative person. So all creative kind of works I'll give him, but I also will make him aware that he cannot just take everything for granted. He's also accountable for some things because naturally he's inclined toward creativity. I'll try my best to give him jobs that involve a lot of creativity, but that doesn't mean that he cannot be complete freedom from accountability. At the same time, there are people who are very systematic, organized, they follow systems and processes all the time. So they are very good for handling works which involve systems, processes and rules. But that doesn't mean they also have needs to be free and they have to work without systems. And they have to be encouraged to work in situations where there are no rules. And they should not get nervous when there are no rules in systems and processes. So you have to encourage that side. So if I meet a Kama, his growth lies in discovering his Yama. And if I have a Yama, then his growth lies in discovering a Kama. And you can't say I am a Kama and therefore I cannot follow rules, because then you will not stay in the company. And you can't say because I'm a Yama, everybody has to follow rules, because then people will hate you. And like Yama is everybody's frightened, people will shun you and you will not succeed. When I'm dealing, for example, with a person with a Kama trait, and I'm talking to him and I see that he's always creative and all that, and he's always coming up with new ideas. When you're talking to such a person, the Karta will say that, okay, have you done what you last time you agreed to do? have you followed all your task sheets? And he'll always bring him back to the Yama zone, because he always wants to be in the Kama zone. You know, pull him to the Yama zone, and that's where the engagement will happen. But if someone who's very disciplined, process oriented, always says that, listen, I have followed all the rules and all that, you have to always challenge him by disrupting him and telling him that, you know, but let's think of something different. What new things have you done? Can you challenge the rules? Can you break the rules? So you are different with the Kama person, you're different with the Yama person, because different people have different growth needs, and different people need different, they have to discover the opposite sides of their personality if they have to grow and have an all-rounded growth.